Hello, welcome to live commentary of Arsenal versus Burnley. One relegated, one pressing for the Premier League title. Well, Arsenal must be sniffing the opportunity of picking up their first title in many, many moons, that is for sure. At the moment, it is all about this game. It doesn't matter what else happens, wherever you go, whatever you look at. They are 2 points clear with 2 games to play. That means that Manchester City at best can get 83. A victory tonight against Burnley will take them to 82. Those 2 points could be priceless in the run-in to the top of the table. The two sides are currently underneath the stands, waiting to come out here at the Emirates, and I have to say that they know the job that they need to do. Arsenal have made some changes under Mikel Arteta, and Michael James obviously is the man that is in charge of Burnley, who are already relegated. Well, both sides look pensive. It was a weekend of strange goings on in the Premier League with VAR and different things getting involved, and what could have been, what wasn't. And now we look at the players as they make their way out onto the field of play. Arsenal know that this really has to be must-win. Must-win puts one firm hand on the Premier League title. It means that Manchester City have got to win 2 out of 2 for them to make sure that they can take it to the final countdown. But Arsenal are the ones with the title well and truly in their hands. They've built their game pretty much on a solid back 5 throughout the season and added some flair up top. They've had some struggles, they've had some games where they've had to grind things out, but today it is an expectant team that expects to beat Burnley, who expect to roll over and say tickle our tummy. I'm not sure Burnley will do that, and I don't think that pride would let any footballer do that either. But at the moment, what we can say is that these two sides now face each other head to head outside on what is a glorious looking evening here in North London. Arsenal in goal, David Raya, back 4 from left to right of Calafiori, Michales, Saliba and Mosquera. Eze, Rice and Odegaard, a midfield triumvirate with Trossard and Saka flanking not Victor Gyökeres this time, but Kai Havertz, who is going to play through the centre for Arsenal tonight. Their bench: Arrizabalaga, Hincapi, Jesus, Martinelli, Gyökeres, Madueke. I can tell you the rest of them as well. Madueke is out there, and of course we have injured Ben White and Jurrien Timber, as well as Christian Norgard and Mikel Merino. And not in the matchday squad is Tommy Stetford. But yeah, they've got some players. Max Dowman, the wonder kid, Martin Zubimendi also on the bench as well. Let's have a little look at the opposition. In goal for them today, Weiss, a back 4 from right to left of Walker, Tuanzebe, Esteve and Pires, with Florentino and Ugachukwu in the middle of the park. Chauna, Mejbri and Anthony behind Zion Fleming at the top of the park. And on the bench for them, a Michael Jackson side, Martin Dubravka, the goalkeeping cover, Hartman, Worrell, Humphreys, Ward-Prowse, Lauren, Brun-Larsen, Edwards and Amdouni. Missing, they've got a few players out in fairness, missing with injuries. Rakti, Barnes, Breuer, Foster, Bayer, Ekdal, Roberts, Trezor and Cullen. That is quite a few players to have sidelined, but it is the back end of the season, and it is a point where we approach, for me, which is game 118 of the season for this season, and it may well go into the future for me as well. The World Cup coming up in the summer, which is something to be looked forward to as well. We have Arsenal, though, taking on Burnley. That is all the focus is today, as the Claret and Blue side are in their change strip of all light blue, and Arsenal in their traditional red and white shirts, which look like red tabards to be fair. 3 games, 2 to make history. That is all they're saying. One of those in the Champions League, and that is the final that will be coming up very, very shortly for them. right after the end of the regulation season. Today's referee, Paul Tierney, and he is assisted by, Rob Jones is a fourth official. Burnley will defend the goal as I face the pitch in the first half, away to my right-hand side. Arsenal defend the goal away to my left-hand side, and Medjbury rolls the ball all the way back to Weiss in goal in lime green, top to bottom. Kicks it long, looking for Fleming, headed away by Michaelis. Saka heads it up to the halfway line, nodded away on this near side by Esteve. Headed away on this near side again by Declan Rice. Burnley just hook it on as it comes back into the half, and Saliba this time follows it back to the halfway line. Grazes off the head of Ukachukwu, and back there Esteve turns it from 12 yards inside the Burnley half, all the way back to their keeper Weiss. In goal, away to my right, he's knocked a long ball up, and again it's a little bit of a pummelling up there. Saliba heads the ball away above Fleming on the halfway line on this near side of the pitch. Pitto spins away from Saka rather easy, breaks into the Arsenal half, driving towards the Arsenal goal, away to my left. Rice comes across, Anthony plays it inside, little take by Medjbury down the side of the Arsenal penalty area. Saka in with the first challenge, and it's going to be a corner actually to Burnley, who have come here and opened up with nothing to lose and everything to gain in this game. And it is a goal away to my left-hand side that is under threat here. Raya looks out to his left, right down by the point of my left shoulder. Anthony to take, feigns, runs up to the ball, stops and feigns. Arsenal very good at defending set pieces and scoring at set pieces. Medjbury to the front post, comes out low, flicks it back heel, comes off the shins of the man tracking him. Kai Havertz goes away for yet another corner to Burnley, who have made a very lively opening here. Two corners inside the first 120 seconds. Jadon Anthony comes on this near side. Raya looks out of his goal away to my left to his right-hand side, right down by my left shoulder. And here comes Anthony's corner again into the penalty area. Swung high out towards the penalty spot, nodded away by Arsenal, not cleared. Fleming drops it back, first time shot, just dribbles wide from the edge of the 18-yard box there. Shot this time coming in from Florentino, never really got hold of it as it dropped to him. He was set up by Fleming as the ball was headed out a little bit clumsily, and he was shut down by two, but did manage to dribble it towards David Raya's bottom left-hand corner. Goal kick to Arsenal, away to my left-hand side. Saliba short to Raya. Raya by his left post, but on the edge of the 6-yard box, plays it out on the far side, and this time Gabriel Michaelis puts it up to the halfway line. Burnley again, first took the ball. Arsenal trying to get the ball down. This time they've got a chance. Trossard, 6 yards inside his own half. Spins away from the left flank and comes away to the right-hand side and plays it to Saliba. Saliba forward into the feet of Odegaard. Odegaard held up by Ukachukwu, goes back into the centre circle Arsenal side of the pitch, which is to the left of the halfway line. Gabriel Michaelis to Rice. Rice forward, this time into the feet of Odegaard. Odegaard over the halfway line to Eze, stabbed back to the halfway line to Odegaard. Odegaard makes his way to the right, finds Saka. Saka down the line. Underlapping run coming from Mosquera. Mosquera tries to step inside of Esteve to Eze, back to Saka. Saka 12 yards from the dead ball line. Lovely play by Arsenal around the edge of the box, played through. Havertz gets the ball down, but coming across to clear the ball this time, Maxime Esteve gets the ball away. And Arsenal with their first corner. That's a throw actually, didn't quite go out down by this corner flag. Mosquera will take. Throws it to Havertz down by the dead ball line, back to Mosquera. Mosquera against the legs of the on-rushing Anthony, and it's another throw, about 6 or 7 yards away from the corner flag, defended by Lucas Perez for Burnley. Thrown back to Saliba. Saliba under pressure from Fleming, plays it square to Gabriel Michaelis, into the feet this time of Trossard, who's coming off that left-hand side, and they're playing centrally in the middle of the Burnley half, which lies to the right of the halfway line. Trossard to Rice. Rice out to Mosquera. Mosquera faced by Anthony. Saka goes down a channel, but he goes back inside and slightly backwards to Rice. Rice this time to Saliba. Saliba to Gabriel Michaelis. Through into the feet of Trossard, who stabs it first time out to Riccardo Calafiori. Calafiori, far side of the pitch, tries to get away from Chauna. Back it goes to Trossard. Certainly Burnley are very, very tigerish in shutting the ball down at the moment. Rice out to Mosquera. Mosquera back to Rice. Rice 7 yards inside the Burnley half, which lies to the right of the halfway line. So Fleming puts pressure on Odegaard, who's forced back into his own half. ferreting the ball out towards the left-hand side. Short pass to Eze, back to Odegaard. Odegaard back to Calafiori. Calafiori back into his own half, this time to Gabriel Morales. Odegaard, plenty of time on the ball, plays it square to Saliba. Saliba 6 yards inside his own half, plays it back infield to Odegaard. Odegaard looking to address the ball on his left foot, just by the centre spot. Over the halfway line he goes. Arsenal attack that goal away to my right-hand side as I view the pitch. Technical areas down beneath where I view it. Down the line to Saka. Saka turns away from Anthony and Pires. Gets it down the line to Havertz. Havertz back to Mosquera. Mosquera inside to Rice. Rice through to Saka, who can't take it first time, and cross comes a challenge this time by Florentino to fire the ball out of play on this near side. I see the pitch very much as you'll see any television pictures from the Emirates. Ball back in play. Mosquera throws it to Saliba. Saliba to Rice. Rice 12 yards inside the Arsenal half, which lies to the left of the halfway line as I face the pitch. Out to this left flank to Odegaard. Odegaard to Mosquera. Mosquera almost stopped by Ogachukwu. Ball breaks to Eze. Eze to Havertz. Havertz tries to get the ball through to find Saka. Gets a header away by Burnley. Havertz tries to play it back down the channel for Mosquera. Fades everybody and goes out of play for a Burnley goal kick. Arsenal 0, Burnley 0. Possession-wise, Arsenal absolutely murdering Burnley. Tenacious White. Burnley doing a very good job so far, but this is sadly what Burnley have done for most of the season. They've been in contests and worked hard in contests and then come off at the wrong end of a defeat, ultimately by 1 goal after a mistake. Goal kick goes sweeping out on this near side, caught like a fullback in rugby union by Nicolas Tete. Throws it quickly. Arsenal take the throw, looking for Havertz. Tied it up this time by Esteve. Back to Weiss. Weiss out along to the left side of his penalty area, away to my right. Esteve clips it up to Fleming. Fleming holds the ball up well. Hampton's got to get there, doesn't. Saka picks up the loose ball. A little bit of a tugging, a little bit of holding. And our referee today, Portioni, says that Bukayo Saka was held. Jadon Anthony's had a wry smile at the fourth official on this near side, who I think must have assisted the referee in making that decision. And Arsenal have a free kick 8 yards inside the half of Burnley. Odegaard wants to take it quickly. Portioni says you're not taking it quickly. Odegaard spots the ball up again for this free kick. Wants to go back to Saliba. Does go back to Saliba. Saliba's 12 yards inside his own half. Back to Odegaard. Odegaard tracked by Anthony. Swings the ball into the midway point of his own Arsenal half to Declan Rice. Arf. That's ARF. That is not HALF. Back to Martin Odegaard. Odegaard comes forward. Crossfield ball. Looking this time for Trossard. Trossard just shouldering a bit under Kyle Walker, and the ball just evades him and goes out of play on the far side for a throw to Burnley. We're into the 8th minute of the first half, and currently it is goalless. Every passing second will make this a very anxious wait for Mikel Arteta's side. Walker throws the ball back into his own penalty area, away to my right, where Max Weiss puts a long ball forward, but it's straight down the heart of Saliba's throat. He tries to play it forward to Eze. Eze gets the ball off the legs of Chauna and plays the ball back to Calafiori. Infield to Declan Rice. Rice 4 yards inside his own half, making his way to the halfway line. Arsenal defend the goal away to my left and attack the goal away to my right. Burnley conversely go the other way. Played out on the far side by Calafiori to Trossard. Trossard loses out and Chauna puts the long ball forward. Fleming runs into Saliba, but Saliba does enough to cushion a header to his left for Rice. Rice now finds Gabriel Morales. Morales stops the ball 8 yards inside the Arsenal half and plays it back to Declan Rice, who's 12 yards inside the Arsenal half. Now 6 yards and inside the centre circle on the side of Arsenal's pitch, which is to the left of the halfway line. Plays it out on this near side to the right back Mosquera, who turns it back infield this time to Saliba, who goes square to Gabriel Morales. Arsenal playing a lot of football and now turned out to Eze. Eze with a chance to runs towards Chauna, plays it infield to Rice. Rice out to Trossard, far side Calafiori I should say, down the line to Eze. Eze runs down the channel, being tracked out by the former Manchester United centre-half Axel Tuanzebe. And Lou Chauna has made a challenge on Eze, who's gone down rather, I think, slightly theatrically. I didn't see too much for coming together. I'm going to get to see a replay now, but, well, in fairness, Eberechi Eze, I don't think actually got touched at, but wanted to make sure he got the free kick. That was a little bit of codology there from Eze. Free kick to Arsenal. Level the 18-yard box, out on the far side of the pitch, down the Arsenal left-hand side to Burnley right. Goal away to my right, housed by Max Weiss, who's about to come under pressure here in the 10th minute of the game. Arsenal 0, Burnley 0. Free kick about to be swung in. Saliba, Michaelis, Calafiori, they run from back to front. In it goes. Weiss with the punch away. Medjbury can't get the ball down. Inside the box again, headed away this time by Florentino. Jadon Anthony's header's wayward. Mosquera puts it back towards the edge of the box. Comes out and on the volley across the face of goal. It was an effort by Gabriel Michaelis, who never really got hold of it, and in fairness almost puts it out for a throw. It went that wide of Weiss's left post away to my right hand side. Arsenal 0, Burnley 0. Arsenal seeing plenty of the ball. Burnley closing down very, very well. But every passing second here, just to give you a little bit of a tension filler. Arsenal, well, it's goalless, although they have scored plenty of late goals and will always back themselves to be the side already relegated from the Premier League. I was commentating on a game earlier in the season when Arsenal only just scraped a draw against Wolverhampton Wanderers. Far side of the pitch into the box. There comes the first shot in by Lucha Tua. Calafiori blocks it inside the Arsenal box, plays it back this time to Michaelis. Michaelis down the side of his penalty area on the left-hand side, dumps the ball up to the halfway line. Jones Zabi gets the ball down. Eze twists away, gets goal side of his man, comes away. But in the end, what a strong challenge that is, coming back from the centre-forward, Zion Fleming. And Trossard pushes Fleming to the floor, and that was well after the ball. And I have to say that Medjbury's gone in just to say what was all that about. The little wee Belgian had no right to even get involved with that. He might have thought it was a strong challenge by Fleming, but it was a rather silly act of petulance by Leandro Trossard. 31-year-old player has got to go over and have a chat with Paul Tierney. I must admit it happened in the corner of my eye, so I don't know how hard it was or how big the push was, but you can't be taking the law into your own hands. That's what I would say. Martin Odegaard's trying to calm things down. It was a solid challenge by Zion Fleming. There was nothing wrong with it, but it's just a little shoulder-to-shoulder coming together, and Trossard pushed him to the floor. Petulance isn't good. Retaliation is even worse, but it got away with no card. 13th minute of the game, Arsenal 0, Burnley 0. Calafiori with the throw back to the halfway line. Turn back to Saliba. Saliba 15 yards inside the Arsenal half, and the Arsenal half lies to the left of the halfway line as I view the pitch from my straddling position on the halfway line. Down this near side, the right, Havertz to Saka. Saka back to Havertz. Havertz level the 18-yard box of Burnley, away to my right-hand side to Odegaard. Odegaard to Saka. Saka back onto his left foot, tries to fire it goalwards, flicks off the body of the man in front of him, Lucas Pires, and goes away for the first Arsenal corner of this first half. Gone away to my right-hand side. Max Weiss will look out to his left, right down by the point of my right shoulder. Just his second appearance, Max Weiss, of the season in the Premier League. And he's going to face an Arsenal set piece. Saka will be looking to whip this underneath the crossbar with his left boot on this near side. Zion Fleming's at the front post. Saliba's underneath the shadow of the crossbar, and now will be the normal trot from back to front by the Arsenal players. Saka goes short to Trossard. Trossard run out of the box, plays it out to the edge of the box to Eze. Eze to Odegaard. Odegaard back to Trossard. Trossard pulls it back into the feet of Havertz. Havertz fires a shot wide from 8 yards. Thinks he should have had a corner. And in the end, it could have hit a couple of players on the way through. Havertz thought it at least hit Max Demis-Dev, but it's gone away for a goal kick. Is sought by our referee today, Paul Tierney. Tight for offside, but they kept themselves onside, and it could have been Estev that got the final block in. Yeah, just come off the top of the knee there of Fleming, of all people. But Arsenal work hard on their set pieces. Different one altogether. Back in play, though, in the Arsenal half. Mosquera to Odegaard. Odegaard back to Gabriel Michaelis. Michaelis 12 yards inside his own half. Looks out to the Arsenal left, where Trossard brings the ball down. Walker's with him. Trossard feeds it in field to Eze. Back to Trossard it goes. Trossard turns and faces the goal of Burnley. Cuts across onto his right foot. Fires it low. Hits the base of the post. Arsenal almost get the first goal of the game. Weiss was beaten, diving away to his right-hand side. Really did thump the base of the post, that did, from Trossard, cutting in as we like to see. Well, I don't like to see it in fairness when you get these inverted wingers now. Trossard primarily right-footed playing on the left, and Saka primarily left-footed playing on the right. Does tend to make things a little bit narrow, but does make the fullbacks work a little harder. Odegaard now out to Mosquera. Mosquera into the feet of Saka. Saka's beaten to the ball this time by Florentina. Ball goes back to Ugachukwu. Ugachukwu upended by Saka. Free kick to Burnley. Good break there by Trossard. Cut inside of Walker. Then exchanged passes with Eze. And then Eze managed to pull players away, and he stepped across Florentina before rasping a shot from 22 yards across to Weiss's bottom of his right post. And in fairness to Max Weiss, he was lucky he didn't get that off the back of his shoulder and his head as it came back off the post at a rate of knots. Ball's back in play, near side. Saka plays it against the legs of Jadon Anthony. It's going to be a throw 6 yards inside the Arsenal half, right in front of the technical area patrolled by Mikel Arteta. And so far, Arsenal throw it back. Mosquera to Saliba. Saliba to McAllis. McAllis to Trossard. Trossard on the halfway line tries to get away from Kyle Walker, and in fairness, he skinned him completely. Trossard drives the ball towards the penalty area of Burnley. Cleared poorly this time by Lucas Pires, but Eze tried to lift it forward for Havertz, but it was a little too long and a little too strong. What have we got in the goals on the field of play here today? Trossard's got 6 this season. Havertz just the 1. Saka 7. Odegaard 1. Declan Rice 4. Eperezi Eche 7. Let's have a look at the Burnley lineup. Zion Fleming has 10, and then after that we're starting to look back at Ugachukwu with 3. And the rest are sort of 8 for Jadon Anthony, so he comes second on the goal scoring charts, the 26-year-old. Ball's back in play, headed forward over the halfway line, headed away this time at the back by Tuanzebe. Picked up by Arsenal midway inside their own half, and Rice tied us up and plays it all the way back to the yellow-clad David Raya away to my left-hand side. Raya to Rice, Rice to McAllis, McAllis to Trossard. Trossard has lost the ball to Walker midway inside his own half. Hannibal Mejbri comes forward up to the edge of the box, going down the side of the box now. Can he use his right foot to cross it? He does. It's a deep cross and too long. Near side, going to be picked up by Lucas Perez, but his back heel is broken to Arsenal. Then Jadon Anthony skins the Arsenal player down to the dead ball line, crosses it in, comes off the body of Declan Rice, and this time is hooked away on this near side by Bukayo Saka. Arsenal having a battle royal for any loose balls at the moment, and Burnley showing possibly as much tenacity as I've seen from them all season. Walker far side of the pitch, rolls the ball out this time to Chona. Chona back to Walker, Walker back to Tuanzebe. Tuanzebe squared at Ugachukwu. Ugachukwu 4 yards inside the Arsenal half, goes back to Esteve, and Esteve squared at Axel Tuanzebe. Tuanzebe lifts the ball down the Arsenal left, the right for Burnley, headed back in this time on the far side by Chona. Mejbri goes down under a challenge from Eze, doesn't get a foul, so Chona upends Eze. Referee has blown his whistle as a couple of players want to contest the ball, and that will be one sky blue player or sky blue kit for Burnley today. Arsenal with their red tops with white sleeves, white shorts and red socks. Well, the game is drifting on. We're into the 19th minute of the first half here, and it's still Arsenal 0, Burnley 0 here from the Emirates. Thank you for listening to our live commentary. There's a 6 to 8 yards shy of the halfway line, still in the Arsenal half, which as I face down at the halfway line, as I straddle it, is to the left of the halfway line. Mosquera gets the ball this time from Saliba, gives it back to Saliba. Saliba across to Gabriel Morales, who's 8 yards shy of the halfway line, square 8 yards to the right where he finds Odegaard. Odegaard now finds Kai Havertz. Havertz coming in from the right-hand side, plays it inside Anthony, back to Odegaard. Odegaard back to the halfway line and parallel along the halfway line with a pass to Gabriel Morales, the centre-half. Infield it goes to Rice. Rice 8 yards inside the Burnley half, up to Odegaard. Odegaard to Eze. Eze back to Odegaard. Back to Eze from a flick across to Saka. Saka inside the penalty area of Burnley onto his left foot. Clips the ball across the face of goal, but it's over the head of Havertz and away for a goal kick on the far side. 20 on the clock here at the Emirates. Arsenal 0, Burnley 0. Close as we come, Leandro Trossard with a 22-yard thump against the base of Max Weiss's right post about 4 or 5 minutes ago. That's the only scare that Burnley have had to survive. A shot from outside their penalty area, and as any defender will tell you, they can shoot from outside there all day long, and if it goes in the top corner, it's a worldie. We couldn't do a great deal about it. Max Weiss, goal away to my right-hand side for Burnley. Spots the ball up in the middle of his 6-yard box. Thumps it right-footed forward. Headed away by Saliba. On it goes by Saka. Headed forward by Tuanzebe. Anthony goes up for the ball. Mosquera goes down clutching his face. And still is on the floor. Jadon Anthony's protesting his innocence because, in fairness, he wouldn't have seen Mosquera behind him. And, you know, Mosquera's up just like that. Pretty quick. Can't see too much wrong with him from there. But there we go. What do I know about football and different things? But I do believe that there is a trend for cadology with blows to the face. Alexis McAllister and there, Christian Mosquera. Odegaard by the centre spot on the pitch over the halfway line. Short ball to his left to Eze. Eze 4 or 5 yards inside the Burnley half, faced by Medbury. Forced to go to the right-hand side to Mosquera. Mosquera down the line to Saka. Saka under pressure from Pires. Goes back to Mosquera. Mosquera back to Saliba. Saliba across to McAllister. Still 12 yards inside the Arsenal half. Short pass to his left. Finds Rice. Rice lifts it out to the right-hand side. Looking for Saka. Cleared by Lucas Pires. Picked up in the middle of the Burnley half by Eze. Eze finds Calafiori. Calafiori finds Odegaard. Odegaard finds Saka. But a good block this time by Estep. Calafiori is a long way from home. The left back's playing in the right attacking midfielder position as he passes the ball back to Odegaard. Odegaard across to Gabriel Magalhaes. 12 yards inside the Burnley half, which lies to the right of the halfway line. Rice, Odegaard. Odegaard puts the ball forward. Cleared on the edge of his 18-yard box on the volley with his instep of his left boot by Maxime Estep, and it curls away on this near side for a throw midway inside the Burnley half, which Mosquera takes quickly to Declan Rice. Declan Rice this time. 18 yards outside the 18-yard box of Burnley, rolls it back towards the halfway line to William Saliba. Saliba to Mosquera. Back it goes to Saliba, who's backed off now to a 0.7 yards inside the Arsenal half, which is to the left of the halfway line. Plays it back to the right back, Christian Mosquera. Mosquera comes up and over the halfway line. Only option is to go into the feet of Havertz, who comes away from the front line. Back he goes to Mosquera and out on this right-hand side to Odegaard. Odegaard works his way in field. Short pass to Declan Rice. Rice back to Odegaard. Odegaard turns it round the corner, but again, Burnley have read the intentions there. But given the ball away rather easily there. Ugachukwu to Saka. Saka into the box. Little layout to the right to Havertz. Havertz is going to wait for the overlap. Doesn't get the overlap. Goes inside to Odegaard. Odegaard back to Havertz. Havertz will just see the ball run behind him and away. Just for a moment there, it did look as though there was going to be a chance that Arsenal were going to find themselves with a little bit more of an effort on goal. It didn't quite happen. Goal kick to Burnley. We're over halfway through the first half. Max Weiss with a goal kick away to my right-hand side. Nerves will play a massive part in tonight's game for Arsenal. Every passing second will just mount those nerves and just ramp them up a little degree. Only a minute degree. A goal will dissipate most of those, but when it's currently goalless, if it's goalless going late on into the game, they'll know that they will be on the verge of possibly dropping 2 points, and that would really let Manchester City back into the race. But there's a long way to go. Far side of the pitch, Trossard comes in from the Arsenal left, crosses the ball into the box, headed away this time by Tuanzebe. Picked up by Mosquera, back to Saliba. Saliba forward to Odegaard. Odegaard tries to turn. Ogachukwu's close. Out to Mosquera, back to Odegaard. Odegaard round the corner into a vacant space. As Steph tidies up and finds Fleming. Fleming's first touch is woeful for a centre forward, but he gets it back after Medbury wins it. Fleming plays a ball out to the left of the Arsenal defence, looking for the run of Chona, but it's cut out of game. And in that little passage of play, you almost, if you are an Arsenal backroom staff, want Burnley to think that they can go forward and score a goal, because when they do come out, there seems to be space the other way for Arsenal to go into. Although Burnley very disciplined and back in shape, and Arsenal helped them by playing a few square passes. Rice to Odegaard, 12 yards outside the Burnley penalty area. Near side to Mosquera. Mosquera back to Odegaard. Odegaard finds Gabriel Magalhaes, dead centre of the Burnley half. He plays a short pass to his right, this time to Saliba. And Hannibal Mesri has gone into the centre half with such gusto that Gabriel is down on the deck, and it's not accepting any apologies here either from Medjbury. And I have to say, yeah, I would go along and say that Hannibal Medjbury just left a little bit on there at the centre half for Arsenal. Caught him aside the left knee, and Declan Rice acting as peacemaker, but Paul Tierney will have noted that. I don't think Medjbury's got much left in the locker or any wriggle room now. Next time he fouls, that will be a card to Hannibal Medjbury. 25th minute of the game has elapsed. We're into the 26th. Arsenal 0, Burnley 0 here at the Emirates in a crucial game that could decide where the title goes at the end of the season. Free kick taken short and square by Odegaard and Rice to Eze, to Trossard. Trossard's going to take on Walker down the side of the Burnley penalty area. Walker stands his ground, clears the ball back, picked up by Rice. Rice turns it back to Odegaard. Odegaard under pressure from Anthony, goes back to Rice, and Rice under pressure from Chouna has to turn it all the way back to David Raya, 12 yards inside the Arsenal half to the left of the halfway line. Knocks the ball out down the right-hand side. Mosquera heads it towards the Burnley penalty area. Burnley not picking up their men there, certainly in the shape of Medjbury. Good play there by Trossard to Eze. Eze back to the Burnley goal. Plays it out to the right-hand side to Saka. Saka faced by Anthony. Goes in on his left foot, which he loves to do. Back to Saliba. To Odegaard and square to Declan Rice. Rice this time pays the ball over the top. A lovely cutout this time by the tracking back Jadon Anthony. Well, just got away with it. Ball lofted up, headed on by Medjbury. Zion Fleming plays it out to Chouna. Chouna on the charge now. Crosses the ball across the face of goal here. Brought down by Medjbury, who gets it one touch and then flails it wide of Raya's right-hand post. But the cover from Declan Rice was all important. The defensive midfielder making up for a lack of total defenders back there at that point. Good break. Medjbury flicked it on to Fleming. Fleming set away Chouna. Chouna then curled it across the face of Michalis. No Saliba. Found Medjbury's first touch. A little bit awkward. Popped it up onto his left foot. He had to have a slice as Declan Rice shut him down. And he sliced it horribly wide. But we're back in play here as Arsenal try and break forward with Saliba. Saliba to Mosquera. Mosquera 8 yards inside his own half. Lifts it down this flank over the head of Lucas Pires. Saka's got the ball down. Based in this near touchline. Pires has got goal side, forcing Saka back all the time. Saka tries to turn, goes down the line to Havertz. Havertz back to Bukayo Saka. Saka inside to Odegaard. Odegaard into the feet of Declan Rice, 30 yards away from the goal. Now 25 yards, plays it up to Odegaard. Odegaard's first touch is header. Medjbury gets the ball to Fleming. Fleming across to Anthony. Anthony down the line. Medjbury's the willing runner again. It's going to be those two that have just gone together, Gabriel and Medjbury. This time the pair of them go into a little bit of a heap. And the ball is cleared. And I have to say that Gabriel Michalis is absolutely hating Hannibal Medjbury with every moment. And believe it or not, Paul Tierney, who thought that Medjbury had trapped the ball under his feet and not allowed Gabriel to get on with the game, has booked Hannibal for exactly that. 9th card of the season for Medjbury, who delayed the restart. There's 8. Out to Trossard. Trossard 8 yards inside the Burnley half. Faced on the far side by Chouna. Back into his own half to Gabriel Michalis. Square to Saliba. And square this time to Mosquera. Mosquera up and over the halfway line. Medjbury gets the next game off against Wolverhampton Wanderers in what will be a championship fixture next year. Tierney, first time he's managed to bank Medjbury with a card. He carded a few times in fairness, Hannibal Medjbury. Declan Rice on the football, breaking out to the left of Arsenal. Inside the Burnley half, short pass to Calafiori. Calafiori slips it in behind Tuanzebe. Havertz pulls it back, headed away by Ugachukwu. Edge of the box coming in. This time is Declan Rice, couldn't control it. This time Florentina got enough on it, and a ball goes forward to the edge of the box, chested down by Eze and hooked around the corner, but easily taken by Max Weiss from the edge of the box. Nice bit of skill, lacks a bit of real pace and power. Weiss drop kicks it high into the half of Arsenal. One bounce outside the 18-yard box, and Raya to the left to his penalty area, catches it above his head and bowls it out underarm into the feet of Saliba. Saliba to Rice. Rice over the halfway line, slips it through, finds a nice pass to Odegaard. Odegaard out to Saka. Saka down the side of the Burnley penalty area, cuts inside onto his left foot, wants to go back to his right. Being held up on this near side by both Pires And, well, I don't know how that hasn't gone in. It's across to the back post. It's right over the head. He's chipped it right over the head of Weiss, and I thought it was just going to nestle in the side net and on the far side of the goal. It's gone wide. Arsenal come forward again. That was very close. Odegaard turns, spins, faced by Ugachukwu, plays it back to Rice. I'll have to have a look at that one again because he's really at an acute angle and he clips it over Saka. And I thought it was just going to caress the inside of Max Weiss's right post and go into the corner of the net, but it didn't. It just stayed out. Just kept away from the framework of the goal altogether. Arsenal back with the ball on the halfway line, just adjacent to the centre spot. Saliba to Odegaard. Odegaard finds Havertz. Havertz in between the lines. Into the box he goes. Coming in from Weiss's left-hand side. Fires a shot in. Blocked by the legs of Esteve. Corner to Arsenal. 31 on the clock. Just going to get another look on the replay monitor of this ball from Bukayo Saka. Literally, I don't know if that's grazed the crossbar and come off and gone away from goal. He's clipped it. He's chipped it over Weiss at the front post. And it hasn't. It's just gone very parallel to the back post as it's gone across. It was so close from the angle I'm sat on the halfway line. Thought it was going to be a goal. Weiss in the goal away to my right-hand side. Looks out to his left. And it's got to be curled in by Bukayo Saka. Arsenal set-piece maestros have been guided again. Out comes Trossard, short into the feet of Trossard. Trossard out to the edge of the box, finds Odegaard. Odegaard faced by Medjbri across to the right to Eze. Eze to Trossard. Trossard to Saka. Saka inside, this time to Mosquera, who loses out. This time, nice footwork in the middle of the park by Chona. Puts the ball down the line and out of play. It's been a bit of a late challenge. Burnley players asking for a foul. 32nd minute of the first half, and pretty chances apart from Trossard's shot from 22 yards, which cannoned off the base of the post of Max Weiss's goal away to my right-hand side. Just the one card for Hannibal Medjbri. But Burnley do have a throw as the ball was put out of play on this near side, and Lucas Perez making his 20th appearance, a Brazilian. He's got a throw towards the halfway line. Spot has been contested with Kalinci Hardman. Into the feet this time of Ugachukwu. Back to Perez. Perez thumps a long ball up towards Fleming. Fleming's beaten in the air just inside the Arsenal half by Saliba. Loose ball was picked up by Chona. Out to Medjbri. Medjbri inside to Anthony. Anthony's got nothing to his right-hand side. Has to check and go back to Ugachukwu on the halfway line. Sweeps it back in field and to his right to Axel Tuanzebe. Tuanzebe 12 yards inside the Burnley half. Goes to the left side of centre half, who is Esteve. Up into the feet of Anthony. Back to Tuanzebe. Burnley just holding on to the ball about 15 yards inside their own half. Walker into the feet and round the corner of Florentino. Turned on by Chona. Blocked by Arsenal, but the ball favours Kyle Walker. Walker into the feet in the middle of the park again of Florentino. Back to Walker. Walker now with a right to left ball. Looking for the run on this near side of Lucas Perez. Good covering by Mosquera, who heads it from 3 yards outside of his penalty area off the top of his head and back to David Raya, who takes it safely before bowling the ball out to Declan Rice. Rice gallops up towards the halfway line. He's a good 7 yards inside the Arsenal half. Arsenal defend the goal away to my left and Burnley defend the goal away to my right. Ball goes out down the Arsenal left-hand side. Trossard back into the halfway line. Into the feet of Rice. Rice finds Odegaard coming to his right-hand side, receives the ball and starts edging his way to the right, slips the ball out to Mosquera. Mosquera forward to Odegaard. Odegaard being trapped by Ugachukwu. Little back heel inside finds Saka. Saka's ball to Havertz. Is cut out though by Florentino, who manages to pass the ball up to Fleming. Fleming's ball across to Chona was always destined to go to the man it went to, which was Trossard. Trossard gets the ball back to Gabriel Magalhães. Slips the ball through, edge of the box. Havertz on the left-hand side, plays it across. Saka with a first-time shot, goes down under a challenge. It's a weak shot. Poor Tierney's right there. He says there's no foul from Lucas Perez. Well, I think Bukayo Saka thought he was fouled. We'll wait to see if that one goes to VAR man. Monitor man, as I like to call him. Didn't really give you the full rundown of those people that were officiating today. Paul Tierney's our referee, assisted by Richard West and Mark Scholes. Fourth official and board man Robert Jones, and VAR or monitor man is James Bell. Burnley have the ball, playing out on this near side to the left back Perez. Perez to Medjbri. Medjbri to Ugachukwu. Back to Perez. Perez plays it back down the line, but straight out of play. Ugachukwu was never getting out. Bukayo Saka's finally jogging out in the penalty area. Still wondering why he hasn't got a penalty. we get the replay. And as soon as we get the replay up in the boxes, then you know it's been cleared. But I tell you what, that is touch and go for me. I've just seen it again. Saka's there, but I think it's just the toe of Pires that gets to the ball as Saka's trying to sweep the ball goalwards. And that, you could construe, does he hit the back of Pires' leg before Pires' leg hits the football? That is the question you'd have to answer. But James Bell has said that there is no penalty and that there will be a throw. And Mikel Arteta puts his hands to both of his temples and looks out with absolute aghastness, if there is such a word. It's so hard to see. I've watched it now 4 times. I think Pires just gets there, but I think Pires gets there as Saka kicks the back of the foot of Pires. Anyway, it's been checked. VAR is over, and Arsenal not going to be saved by that moment of injustice. As West Ham fans will possibly say, you always get a penalty when you shouldn't. There was a lot of pushing and tugging before Raya was even smited in that game against West Ham. Anyway, it's Trossard, far side of the box, steps away from Walker once. He's gone back to beat him for a second time, slips it in. Calafiori with a drag back out to Odegaard. Odegaard, first time shot, ricochets off the rear of Ugachukwu and wide of the goal. It looked as though that was destined to be the opener for Arsenal there. But it was well worked, but Arsenal get their third corner of the first half. And it was well played by Calafiori back to Odegaard, who went for the bottom left-hand corner, but it hit the bottom part of the gluteus maximus there of Leslie Ugachukwu, and it goes wide for the corner. Goal away to my right-hand side. Max Weiss of Burnley will look out to his left-hand side, right down by the point of my right shoulder. Last 2 corners Arsenal have had on this side, they've gone short. Trossard's come away from the front post. What will they do this time? That is the question. Will they go deeper and into the box? Saka this time does put it deeper into the box, and it's an easy goal, as easy as you like. Kai Havertz heads it in from 5 yards for his second Premier League goal of the season. So easy there. 37 on the clock. Saka's corner, and Havertz's header sees the German get his second goal of the season from 7 yards. Such an easy header, and after all of that hard work by Burnley, all their tenacity, exactly like the majority of their goals and games this season, they're right in it until they switch off. And Kai Havertz with the goal from a Bukayo Saka corner, swept in. Havertz just got into the middle of there. Well, he's coming from outside the 6-yard box, and he's just got the highest he can, trying to pick out exactly who should have marked him. And it looks as though he was always getting away from his man, who in this case was Florentino. Just climbed above everybody else, and Esteve ultimately at the end, and headed the ball into the back of the net. And Arsenal take the lead, and some nerves and anxiety will be released on that Arsenal bench, as they now feel that it's their game to lose. And Kai Havertz has opened the scoring on the night. 39 minutes we have now played, and the Arsenal fans will all breathe a collective sigh of relief from one orifice or another. That's what I can tell you. They take the lead against Burnley in a game which has been very competitive, and really that's the first effort on goal of any real note in the whole game. Havertz, buoyed by that, is trying to take on Tuanzebe on the far side. He plays the ball back into Weiss. Weiss on the edge of his 6-yard box, away to my right, plays a left foot ball forward. Gets it up to Anthony. Anthony gets the ball down. Pires comes across, runs into Eze, loses out. Ugachukwu picks up the pieces to find Mesri. Mesri's got Chona out to his right-hand side, finds him. Chona now running at Calafiori up to the edge of the box. Into the box he goes. Quick lollipop, pulls it back to the penalty spot. Cleared by Declan Rice. Corner to Burnley. Their third of the first half. 40th minute of the game. Arsenal 1, Burnley 0. Goal scored on 37 by Kai Havertz, his second goal of the season. 2 assists and 2 goals he has in just 10 appearances. Not a bad return in fairness. And they're just going to be David Raya in goal for Arsenal. Away to my left, he's going to look out to his left-hand side, which is the furthest corner away from me on the far side of the pitch. Can Burnley strike back? Jayden Anthony's going to take this corner away from the goal of Arsenal with his right foot. Here comes the ball driven in to the back post. Headed forward by Okachukwu, but it bounces nicely for Raya to claim on the first bounce inside his 6-yard box. Quickly bowls it out to Rice. Rice tries to find Bukayo Saka, but Bukayo Saka hasn't got the pace or the legs to get past Florentino. Pings the ball back to Max Weiss in the goal away to my right-hand side, who takes a heavy first touch, but enough to take it past Trossard and play it out to Nzabi. Nzabi plays it further out to Kyle Walker. Walker in field this time. To Okachukwu. Back to Esteve. To Walker. To Okachukwu. To Nzabi. Down the line, this time to Mesbury. Still inside the half of Burnley, which is to the right of the halfway line. And then Nzabi will turn it all the way back to his keeper Max Weiss. 5 points of difference should the results stay the same for Manchester City to go in tomorrow. And well, I have to feel a little bit for the Burnley player there, who's just took the ball in the back of the net. Jayden Anthony. He's absolutely flabbergasted that a foul has been given, because the player has gone down like he was poleaxed. And from the commentary box, when you see a player go down quite like that, you do wonder. And it's Eberechi Eze again. And that's a rather spectacular leap after he's got a little push in the back. Twice now, Eberechi Eze has felt a touch, little delay, forward roll, tumbling like a circus tumbler, and then gets a free kick. Paul Tierney buys the obviously very strong touch in the back. Not saying that it wasn't a foul, but well, I am actually. I'm saying it wasn't a foul. I thought it was rather theatrically endorsed and embellished there by Eberechi Eze for the second time in this game. Anyway, ball is back in play. Arsenal have the ball. Rice to Saliba, back to Rice, 13 yards inside the Arsenal half. Plays it to his left to Gabriel Magalhaes. Magalhaes comes up towards the halfway line. Ball through into a little pocket for Eze. Eze, I thought, might have fallen over there because the ball hit his leg, and played forward this time into the feet of Mosquera. Mosquera back out, and on this near side of Saka. Saka to Odegaard. Odegaard tiptoeing through, tries to find Saka. Saka's not going to get on the end of a heavy pass there by Martin Odegaard. Nice feet, nice idea, but the execution at the end was rather too heavy-handed by Martin Odegaard. Eberechi Eze is a player that I really do like, but I do find this creeping into the game more and more now, that the slightest embellishment of anything ends up with a tumble or a fall or a head holding. And again, another player down on this near side is Mosquera, but he picks himself up. Ball is currently with Eze. Eze to Gabriel Magalhaes, back to Eze. Eze up and over the halfway line. We're to the 44th minute of the first half now. Arsenal 1, Burnley 0. Goal scored by Kai Havertz on 37 from a Bukayo Saka corner. Straight onto his bonds, nodded in from 6 yards, climbed above everybody. Rice gets the ball to Gabriel Magalhaes. Magalhaes plays it out to the far side to Eze. Eze back inside to Trossard. Trossard back to the halfway line to Rice. Arsenal in control of the game now. They have been in control of the game, but not in terms of the scoreline, which has had parity until that goal was scored on 37. Goal scorer Havertz now down the right-hand side to Saka. Saka back to Mosquera, back to Havertz, who's folded up outside, plays it into Saka. Saka tries to kill it to the top corner, and it's just wide as Weiss goes away to his left-hand side. From 18 yards, looked as though that was going to nestle in. It's just that moment now that Arsenal possibly thinking one more goal and Burnley's resilience will actually be so deflated. That was close. Weiss, I think, was very close to it as well. I think, in all honesty, he might well have had it covered. But Arsenal go close as we go into the 45th minute of the first half here. Arsenal 1, Burnley 0. Corner by Saka on 37, nodded in by Kai Havertz. Mikel Arteta is into the last 2 games of the season, or the last game and a half of the season for him now in terms of Premier League matches. Still got the Champions League, which could be the cherry on the cake for them. It's a very tough side in Paris Saint-Germain. Headed forward, headed away by Arsenal. Odegaard loses that in the middle of the park. Good work by Ugochukwu, picked off by Rice. It goes into the half of Arsenal. Mosquera, the right back, down the line to Havertz. Havertz up and into the box, plays it into Saka. Saka tries to return the ball in through to the legs of Odegaard, who's appealing for something. I didn't see it go anywhere near a hand, but Trossard's won it back on the far side of the pitch for Arsenal. Down the line it goes to Calafiori. Calafiori plays it into Odegaard. He miscontrols it. Anthony steps in, goes back to the edge of his own box for playing it to the left back, Lucas Perez. Perez inside to Ugochukwu. Ugochukwu got 4 red shirts around him and not a sky blue one inside, but he's done well to turn. In the end, Rice plays it against the legs of Ugochukwu as he's waiting for the movement to help him out. But I can see what they're screaming for now. Tuanzebe's heel up onto his arm. No way that's going to be a penalty. Unless you're Arsenal. Or Celtic, maybe. Don't want to say anything there. Right, ball thrown back into his own half by Mosquera. Mosquera back to Saliba. Saliba into the feet of Raya. Raya out to Gabriel Magalhaes in square. We're into 2 minutes to be added on, minimum of at the end of the first half. Still that goal on 37 minutes. A Saka corner headed in by Kai Havertz. Separates the two sides, and we've had virtually the first minute of the minimum of 2 to be played. Arsenal have been territorially obviously far superior. They've had more touches, they've had more possession, more territory. But Burnley have been pretty much right in the game, as they have done throughout most of their games in this season, but still find themselves on the wrong end of a scoreline. Switched off once, conceded once, and now it's have they got the goals in their forward line to try and get themselves back into it? Well, that's the question that hasn't really been answered most for this season. Crossfield ball by Rice from right to left, looking for Trossard. Trossard gets his header on it as it clears the head of Walker, but it goes out of play for a throw to Burnley, taking a level with their own 18-yard box, away to my right-hand side. Into Tuanzebe. Tuanzebe across his own penalty area to Esther. Esther to Vice. Vice to the edge of the box to Ugochukwu, who's got a chance to turn and run away. We're into the final 14 seconds of the second minute of a minimum of 2 to be added on at the end of the first half. Ugochukwu finds Anthony. Anthony's got a run between 2 or 3 here. Does really well. Feeds it out to the right back Walker. Walker midway inside the Arsenal half. Plays it further out right hand side to Chahuna. Chahuna faced by Calafiori. Tries to go back onto his favoured foot. Goes back to Walker. Paul Tierney says that's enough for the first half. And at the break here at the Emirates, it is a goal. Scored on 37. His second of the season. Kai Havertz climbing highest and getting on the end of a Bukayo Saka corner. And at the break at the Emirates, it's Arsenal 1, Burnley 0. Do join me for the second. Hello and welcome back to live commentary on the second period here at the Emirates between Arsenal, destined to be Premier League champions, and Burnley. Well, we are all set, ready for this second half here at the Emirates, and it's Arsenal that will be defending the goal away to my right-hand side, and the Burnley will be defending the goal away to my left-hand side. We'll run through the two lineups for you as we have them at the moment. No changes at the break. The second half is underway. We'll start with the home side. Raya in goal, a back four of Mosquera, Saliba, Magalhaes and Calafiori. Then it's Odegaard, Rice and Eze, with Saka, Havertz, the goal scorer, and Trossard at the top of the pack. And for Burnley, they have Max Weiss in goal. They have a back four from left to right of Pires, Esteve, Tuanzebe, Walker. Florentino and Ugachukwu are the midfield holders. Anthony, Mejbri, Chauna behind Fleming at the top of the park. Our referee today is Paul Tierney, and he is assisted on either flanks by Richard West and Mark Scholes. Robert Jones is board man and fourth official, and monitor man is James Bell. That's your officials and our third team. 3 corners apiece in the first half. 1 goal scored by Havertz from the third of those Arsenal corners, flicked in by the front post from 7 yards from a Saka corner. Kai Havertz getting his second of the season. 1 yellow card given out to Hannibal Mejbri. And the two sides are as follows. All sky blue with white socks for Burnley. Attacking the goal away to my right-hand side. Pires edge of the box of Arsenal. Back to Anthony. Anthony trying to get round the outside of Eze. Good work there by Mosquera, taking it off his toes in conjunction with a couple of Arsenal players. And Arsenal try and play the ball out to Saka, but it goes out of play. Arsenal with 72% of possession in the first half, which is an alarming statistic. Just 28 for Burnley, but Burnley certainly gave their all in that first half, and it's a game that's still alive and kicking in the shapes of the turf Moorites coming down from the north. But I do have to say, I think another goal for Arsenal, and all resistance and hope may well be release from the bodies of Arsenal. Esteve back to Weiss. Weiss on the edge of his 18-yard box, away to my left-hand side. Takes a touch, gets to the edge of his D. Sweeps the ball out and up towards Chauna. Headed away by Calafiori. Halfway line, Walker heads it back forward. Mejbri gets there, so does Fleming. Fleming gets it to Mejbri. Mejbri inside the centre circle on the Arsenal side of the pitch, which is to the right of the halfway line. Short pass to Anthony. Anthony out to Pires. Pires back into Hannibal Mejbri, the only man on a yellow card. Back it goes to Anthony to Leslie Ugachukwu. Ugachukwu back to Maxime Esteve, 8 yards inside his own half, and he will then play the ball back to Max Weiss. Just about 500 under capacity inside the Emirates today, 60,274. The official attendance of 500 shy of where it is. Lock them all up to the halfway lines. Fleming touch forced as Eze. Eze finds Trossard. Trossard finds Saliba, and Saliba plays it out to Mosquera. Mosquera 12 yards inside the Burnley half, which lays to the left of the halfway line as I face the pitch, and I see pictures off the pitch, very much as you'll see them on your television pictures. Eze back to Rice on the halfway line. Back to Eze, just slightly to the right and 12 yards further forward. Further out to the right back, Mosquera. Down the line into the feet of Odegaard. Odegaard forced to go back to Mosquera on the halfway line. Short pass in field to Odegaard on the halfway line, and back down the right-hand side, this time to Havertz. Havertz back to Mosquera. Mosquera to Odegaard. Odegaard back to Saliba, and Saliba midway inside the Arsenal half to the right of the halfway line as I face the pitch. Straddling the halfway line. Magalhaes to Odegaard. Odegaard up over the halfway line, slips it to Havertz. Havertz playing just in behind of Saka, plays it out to Saka. Saka level with the 18-yard box of Burnley. Plays it back just outside the box to Odegaard. Odegaard with a left foot ball. Coming forward, checks inside and plays the ball back out to Saka. Saka along the edge of the 18-yard box. Give and go down that line with Havertz. Back to Saka. Saka to Odegaard. Back to Havertz. Havertz back to the feet this time of Rice. Rice through to Saka. Saka back to goal. Plays it to Odegaard. Odegaard runs into the body of the player called Jaden Anthony, who tries to clear the ball forward, but it's blocked by the legs of Gabriel Magalhaes and falls 2 yards outside the penalty area to the right back, Kyle Walker. Walker back to Tuanzebe. Tuanzebe squared away Steph. Still inside the Burnley penalty area, away to my left-hand side. 50 on the clock here at the Emirates in front of 60,200. And Max Weiss thumps the ball forward, and the goal scored on 37 that separates the two sides. Kai Havertz with his second of the season with a 7-yard header. Getting high above a Bukayo Saka corner that came in from the left of the Burnley goal. Arsenal, if they were to win this, would go on course to winning their 8th 1-0 game of the season, their 7th I should say of the season, miscounted. Long ball over the top, looking for Chona, but it's going to run harmless through to David Raya, who for the first time gets to feel the ball in his mitts. Bowls it out to Saliba to Rice 18 yards shy of the halfway line, 12 yards, 15 yards up to the lip of the centre circle, Arsenal side, short pass forward to Eze gives the ball away to Anthony slips past Saliba. Eze's got to go back, Anthony comes forwards, fires a shot goalwards which just dips over the top of the crossbar. Zane Fleming goes down in a heap. Eberechi Eze holds his arm up to say I'm sorry. But it was a woeful pass there by Eze to Saliba. He was sold right down the river. And then coming into the box, it was Anthony cutting away from his left onto his right. He killed it with the instep of his right, but it was always going over the top of the crossbar. Just having a look at the back post here as Gabriel Michales tangled with the back of Zane Fleming. I think it was just a football coming together, or should we say motor racing, a driving incident, that's all. Michales to Odegaard. Odegaard, head down, drives towards the halfway line, clips it over the top, looking for Trossard in behind Walker. Walker heads it to Chona. Chona inside to Ugochukwu, down the line to Medjbury. Medjbury caught late this time by his nemesis in the first half, Gabriel Michales, and the free kick is given away. 52 on the clock, Arsenal 1, Burnley 0. This will put Arsenal 5 points clear of Manchester City, who play tomorrow night. Walker stands over the ball, said his international career is over. Walker dresses it right-footed, 12 yards from inside his own half, knocks it long. Michales has got goal sight this time of Anthony. He battles hard and wins the ball back, comes out to this near touchline, goes on to his right, kills the ball across the face of the 6-yard box. It's a good looking ball in fairness, and goes right across the face of the 6-yard box, allowed to by Arsenal defenders and goalkeeper alike. There was no sky blue shirt there. It's to be thrown on the far side. Mascara sees it out. But a nice bit of work there from Anthony, and centre forward Zane Fleming never attacked the ball in any given point. Anyway, Mascara with the throw into Rice on the volley, hooks it up towards the halfway line. Havertz goes down under a challenge by Esteth. Burnley again with their tenacious tackling, but loose touch. Ball forced to Gabriel Michales, to Calafiori, now to Trossard. Trossard, 24, 12, 18 yards. Trying to take on Walker. Turns to face this near touchline. Goal away to my left. Reverse ball inside. Finds Calafiori. Calafiori plays it across to Havertz. Havertz forced wide onto his right foot. Tries to pull the ball back into the box. Hits the Burnley player Anthony. Wants a penalty. Nothing doing. Just hit him. Havertz back to Rice. Rice back out down the right-hand side to Mosquera. Mosquera with the cross in. Turned goalwards by Eze into the turf and up and over the bar. Looked as though Max Weiss might have got a touch, but he volleyed it as it came to him from his left-hand side on his left boot. Just glanced ahead of Trossard almost in front of him, and he drilled it into the turf and up and over the bar as they thought the keeper had got a touch to it. In fairness, it's bounced onto the top of the bar. It's difficult to see whether Max Weiss actually did get a fingertip to that. I would say he did. Certainly from the replays, the empty third replay I've just seen, but the referee Paul Tierney wouldn't have seen that grazing of the fingertips. And Max Weiss has a goal kick away to my left-hand side for Burnley. He thumps it right-footed up and over the halfway line. Good header on by Fleming. Fleming fries Chona. Chona back this time to Florentino. Florentino to Walker. Walker 6 yards inside the Burnley half, which is to the left of the halfway line. Stabs the ball round the corner to Chona. His first touch is woeful. Second touch is even worse. Taken off his toes by Odegaard to Rice. Rice to Trossard, and Trossard still 4 yards inside the Arsenal half, which is to the right of the halfway line. Plays it back to Saliba. Saliba out to Odegaard. Odegaard playing where the right back would be, and the right back playing right down where Bukayo Saka should be. Ball's played in field and to the left-hand side to Gabriel Michales. He comes forward. He's going to play it out to Trossard, midway inside the Burnley half, 2 yards in from this near touchline, right in front of the technical area, patrolled by Mikel Arteta to the left of the halfway line. Back in field to Rice. Rice across to Calafiori. Calafiori back out to Trossard. Trossard faced by Chouna. Kills it in behind. Good run this time. Good looking run by Havertz. Havertz pulls it across the face goal. Eze with the header. Hits the back of Esteve. Balloons up nicely and slowly to the left for Weiss to gather. Arsenal getting closer to looking for that second here. 55 on the clock. Arsenal 1, Burnley 0 still. That Kai Havertz goal from a Saka corner is the thing that separates the two sides. All for a little bit of daylight, a little bit of breathing space for Arsenal. Burnley's game very symptomatic of their season, in fairness. Always in a game, never shoot, never smack, never given a hammer in, but always coming off on the wrong end of one moment of switching off and not being able to recover from it. Walker back to Tuanzebe. Tuanzebe on the left of his own penalty area, away to my left, clips it out to the right back. Walker again, 12 yards inside the Burnley half. Rolls the ball back to Ukachukwu. Ukachukwu back to Max Weiss in goal for Burnley, away to my left hand side. Into the feet this time of Florentino. Back to Tuanzebe. Tuanzebe up to the feet of Chouna. Back to Florentino. Florentino scoops the ball out left hand side, looking for Pires and Anthony. Good win back by Declan Rice. Mosquera shows too much. Good strong challenge this time by Medjbury. And there's a break on here for Burnley. Chance for driving forward. Plenty of Arsenal players back. Anthony up to the edge of the box. Cut across to his right boot. 20 yards out. Rolls it back to the right back. Walker. Walker clips the ball in. Fleming goes down. Clipping the heels of the player in front of him accidentally. Headed away by Gabriel Michalis. And Eze plays the ball out on the far side to Mosquera. Just inside his own half. Holds the ball up. Looking for some support. And in the end, loses out to Ukachukwu. Ball breaks nicely into the feet this time of Chouna to Medjbury. Medjbury with a shot. He's thundered it over the top of the crossbar. Quite a long way. Hannibal Medjbury, only man on the card in this game. Looking for his second goal of the season. Never going to get it from about 150 millimetres away from his foot. You realise that was going to go at least 150 foot over the crossbar. Slight exaggeration, but doesn't matter. When it misses, it misses. A miss is a miss is a miss. Ball from Ryan to Saliba, back to Ryan. Ryan across to Michalis. Michalis midway inside the half of Arsenal. Lovely ball into the centre circle to Eze. Eze forward to Havertz. Havertz back to the halfway line to Trossard. Trossard just adjacent to the centre spot. Plays it out to the right back Mosquera. Mosquera down the line to Saka. Saka 12-15 yards inside the half of Burnley. Infield to Odegaard. Odegaard starts breaking forward 30 yards away from goal. Crosses the ball out to this near side looking for Calafiori. Beats him, evades him, goes away for a goal kick to Burnley. And it remains Arsenal 1, Burnley 0. Haven't really told you about the benches for the two sides. Let's start with the home side. What have they got on the bench? Goalkeeping cover in the shape of Kepa Arrizabalaga. Defensive cover in the midfield cover, I suppose, now for Miles Lewis-Skelly, and he's a defender as well as a holding midfielder. Piero Hincapi is also back there. Midfielders in Zubimendi and Downman. Forwards in Gyökeres, Jesus, Martinelli and Madueke. Currently injured Ben White, Timber, Nordgaard, Marino, and not in the matchday squad. Young Tommy Setford, the goalkeeper. Well, it's a 44-year-old Mikel Arteta about to get his hands on the prize as a manager. Burnley's bench is as follows. No substitutes made at all. Dubravka goalkeeping cover. Defensive cover in the shape of Hartman, Worrell and Humphreys. Midfielders Ward-Prowse and Laurent. Forwards Bryn Larson, Edwards and Zeki Amdouni. There's your bench for Burnley. Ball goes forward. Havertz has found a nice position. Plays it to Saka. Saka now bearing down on Pires. 12 yards from the dead ball line. Plays it against the legs of Pires. Balloons to the dead ball line. Pires stops it. Goes out to the far touchline. Plays a long ball up down a halfway line. Fleming doesn't get there. Rice feeds Odegaard. Odegaard feeds Havertz. Havertz feeds Saka. Saka into the side netting from a very poor angle. Flag goes up for offside, which I thought was going to go up at some point in that attack. Why do they wait is my question. Havertz clearly offside there. Why are you waiting for another two passes and possibly a tackle that could lead to an injury? That's what I would say. 60 minutes on the clock. Arsenal 1, Burnley 0. Could this be their 7th 1-0 victory of the season? They'll hope for more. They'll hope to put a little bit of breathing space in it. One is very slender. I'm not talking about me there in the English terms. I'm just saying one goal is very slender. Max Weiss has had a problem with his goal kicks. He keeps going out to the left-hand side and straight out of play. He's done exactly that. Halfway line, far side of the pitch. Mosquera with a throw for Arsenal. Takes his time. Wants to find the right throw and the right place to throw the ball. Down the line it goes. Into the feet of Havertz, who goes down under a challenge of Esther, but no foul given by Portioni. And Tuanzebe plays it 12 yards outside his penalty area, way to my left. The right back Walker. Walker inside finds Florentino. Florentino lifts the ball forward looking for Fleming, but Fleming's well marshalled by Saliba, and the ball clears the pair of their heads and goes through to Raya in the goal away to my right hand side. He bowls it out along the ground to Rice. Rice plays it out down the left, the Burnley right. Inside the Burnley half to the left of the halfway line. Trossard infield to Rice. Rice plays it square to Saliba. Saliba stops, goes back inside to the centre circle on the Burnley side to Rice. Rice has got options again to his right hand side, goes back to Saliba. Saliba's got options outside of him in Mosquera, goes infield to Rice. Rice forward to Odegaard, who's allowed to jog away from Fleming and then turn to face the Burnley goal before playing it right hand side. Loose touch by Havertz, sees Pires pick up the ball and play it back to Esteve, and Esteve drills the ball up to Fleming. And Fleming's first touch is a throw. Got a bit of a buffeting as he tried to get to the ball by Gabriel mate William Saliba. Arsenal still try and come forward. Arsenal play left in a heap on the far side of the pitch in the shape of Christian Mosquera. Jadon Nancy is the man that's left a little bit of an indelible mark on his ankle. Portioni goes over to have a word. Yeah, a little bit of a stamp on the first, an accident. Yeah, he's gone to reach for the ball and just stood on the toes of Mosquera. 62 minutes on the clock. Arsenal with a free kick right on the touchline on the far side. Max Weiss in the goal away to my left hand side, looks out to his left, just about 24 yards away from the corner flag and tight on that far touchline on the far side. Declan Rice measures what he's going to do whilst drying his face in his shirt. Calafiori, Mosquera and Havertz in a line. Going to break that line and try and run in behind the Burnley defence. They run across the back of the defence now. Rice into the ball, Burnley drop off, no offside. Ball goes across the face of the 6-yard box and Fleming awkwardly punts it away to the far side. Brought down by Saka to Eze. Eze tries to get it to Havertz, cleared by Esteve. And now on the far side of the pitch, the flag goes up for offside as Burnley try and break out. And it's always so difficult to talk about the three that come up going down. It's not going to happen this year because two established sides or Premier League established sides are going to slip away. Big game tomorrow at Chelsea between Chelsea and Spurs, but I think most punters would think that Chelsea are not just on the beach, but Xabi Alonso will be there trying to find something out of it. And Spurs have only won one game at Stamford Bridge in about 30 meetings, so that'll be one to keep your ears peeled to tomorrow, because West Ham fans will be very much Chelsea fans tomorrow. Into the box it goes. Chona tries to get away, but he's the man to clear the ball. It's Declan Rice up to Havertz. Havertz plays it back to the edge of his own penalty area where he finds Riccardo Calafiori. Sounds like a Fiat car of the 1980s, but that was called Super Mirafiori over here in good old Blighty. Plays it infield, finds Rice again. Rice to the right back Mosquera. Mosquera inside, this time to Odegaard, 6 yards inside the Arsenal half, which lays to the right of the halfway line. He plays it square to Gabriel Mihalis. Back it goes to Odegaard. Odegaard up over the halfway line to Eze. Eze toes the ball back to Saliba. Back to Eze. Has the Eberechi Eze signing been a success for both player and club? Ball goes forward, looking for the run this time of Eze. Goes all the way through. I think there's more in Eberechi Eze than Arsenal have got out, if I'm totally honest with you. I've been a fan of his for many years, his skill and technique. Not too happy with the way he's thrust himself to the floor today, but I think he is a very, very talented individual, but I'm not sure he quite fits the the Arsenal mould at the moment, if that makes sense. 65th minute of the game, Arsenal 1, Burnley 0. A few Arsenal substitutes getting themselves warmed up down the touchline, one being a man that scored 9 goals in recent times, Victor Gyökeres, who is running up and down with a bit of vigour. Good work here by Mejbri. Mejbri gets the ball out to Chona. Chona looks and waits for the overlap coming from Walker. Walker looks for the underlapping run by Mejbri. Mejbri deceived and beaten to the ball by Declan Rice. He thought he had a foul, but it's Declan Rice again that keeps Arsenal's backline pretty solidly intact. If it does get breached, he is the stopper. He is the plug that fills the hole and gets back. He's been quite imperious for Arsenal today, with understated brilliant work. What a great phrase that is, understated brilliant work. Just get it back, breaking it up, getting the ball away when needed to. Nobody's going to notice that like a 45-yarder into the top corner over your shoulder whilst wearing a flat cap and even a bag of crisps. That would be an absolute worldie goal, but some of the work he's done really goes unnoticed with its simple brilliance and positional awareness. Near side of the pitch, Tuanzebe clips it up towards the halfway line. Calafiori follows it down to Eze. Eze flicks it but gets it nowhere near anybody. Picked off by Florentino to Mejbri. Mejbri on the halfway line, steps inside of Gabriel Magalhaes, tries to go forward, gives the ball away to Odegaard and Calafiori. Calafiori gets it to Magalhaes. Magalhaes to Odegaard. Odegaard swings the ball out to the right back. Mosquera inside to Saka. Saka playing like an inside right now, goes back to the halfway line to one Declan Rice. Rice, if you are Thomas Tuchel, you're going to hope that Arsenal wrap him up in cotton wool, but he's got a few more games to deal with. Challenged by Kai Havertz this time on League Chukwu. Sees Kai Havertz pick up a yellow card. And Havertz there with a classic centre-forwards challenge. Dived in on Ugachu, nowhere near the ball in fairness. I've seen it, what a dirty tackle that was. One I would have been proud of. He's gone to help his man up off the field of play, but I don't think Leslie Ugachu was too impressed with the flailing legs of Hazard that went through his legs and up his calf. But Kai Havertz just gets his first yellow card of the season in the 37th game of 38th in his 10th appearance of the season. The 26-year-old German, enigmatic to the point of, is he a centre forward or is he not? But, just seeing the challenge again by Havertz. It's nowhere near the ball. It's halfway up the left calf of Ugachu, and I think they should be having a little look at this, and they are indeed having a look at this. It's absolutely nowhere near the ball at all, and I think Kai Havertz just taken a cheap shot, could get himself in a bit of trouble here. It's not even in the same vicinity of the ball, and I think that Kai Havertz could be in trouble here. If Paul Tierney is asked to go and have a look at the monitor, it doesn't matter what speed you play this one. Normally slow motion brings you down to thinking, oh, it's a lot more intent, but it's just nowhere near the ball. He's got to be 2 foot away from the ball. Ugachu makes his way to his feet, but it looks as though the off-field referee has decided that it's just a yellow card. That's a pretty poor challenge by Havertz. Now, the more you see it, the more you think, well, you're risking your suspension now, but it doesn't look as though Paul Tierney is going to go over and have a look at the monitor. And the 26-year-old German international, I think, is a little bit on the lucky side of lucky, and it may be that the change with Gyökeres may well happen soon, because he might get another yellow for something a lot less aggressive than we've just seen. Burnley come forward. Anthony tried to hook it forward, cleared by that man Rice again. Out of play on the far side, midway inside the Arsenal half. 69th minute of the game has almost elapsed. Havertz is almost looking over wantingly towards the bench now to see if it is indeed his number that goes up. But it's not his number that goes up. It is a number for Burnley. Zeki Amdouni is about to come on to replace Hannibal Mejbri. Slowly but surely with Hannibal Mejbri, the impulsive side of his game is just starting to being knocked off, and it won't be too long before the 23-year-old, I think, will be well versed with what he needs to do in a game of football and when to do it. At the moment, he's a little bit hot-headed at times, but he's gone off to be replaced by Zeki Amdouni. Maybe another change. It looks like Josh Laurent may well be coming on as well for Burnley in just a moment. Seems to be getting ready down below us, but he's got his shirt up and his head bowed, so I can't see from my commentary position. And Zeki Amdouni coming on for the third time, and Lesbury going off for the 11th time. Leslie Uchukwu is also going off, as well as we believe. It looks like Victor Gyökeres will be coming on, and also Pierre Henkapi coming on as well. We'll wait to see if those changes are made very shortly. But Burnley have the ball in their own half. Forward it goes from Esteve into the feet of Anthony. Anthony 12 yards inside his own half, all the way back to his keeper Weiss, away to my left-hand side. 71 minutes on the clock here. Arsenal 1, Burnley 0. Still that Kai Havertz goal from a Bukayo Saka corner headed in from 7 yards. Really what separates the two sides. Territorially in possession, there's been a golfing class between the two sides, but in terms of endeavour and spirit, I think Burnley have been very tenacious in their game. There's going to be another change, as I say. Ugachukwu goes off and Josh Laurent is about to come on, we're being told. Josh Laurent has come on in 2 of the last 3 matches. Prior to that, he made 2 starts against Leeds United and Manchester City. Ugachukwu has gone off for the 20th time this season. 3 changes. Miles Lewis-Skelly, Pierre Hincapi and Victor Gyökeres all about to come on. And they look as though they've got a change for Ricardo Calafiori. I don't know what Paul Tierney's having a word with Kai Havertz for, but Pierre Hincapi is on for Ricardo Calafiori at left back. Kai Havertz goes off to be replaced by Victor Gyökeres. And Miles Lewis-Skelly is about to come on to replace Eberechi Eze. Would love to hear from Arsenal fans if they thought the Eze plan has worked. It's a difficult one to say, really. He is a super talented player and you'd rather have him in your ranks than against you, but it is a difficult one. Carpi coming on for the 8th time this season. Calafiori going up for the 14th time this season. And it still remains Arsenal 1, Burnley 0 here. We're into the 73rd minute. Time starting to dribble away here. Nerves will start to set into the crowd and indeed Arsenal as they hold on to a slender lead. Thrown in on the far side by Mosquera. Gets it back from Odegaard. Mosquera tries to work it down the line. Back to Odegaard. Odegaard this time platted into by Zane Flemings. And away he goes, really, in fairness. Been a good run in recent weeks for Victor Gyökeres. Subbed against Fulham last time, but coming on 3 previous games, but he has indeed scored 3 goals since coming on as substitute in his last 4 substitute appearances. Free kick to Arsenal, 30 yards away from the goal of Burnley, away to my left-hand side. Weiss looks out of his goal to his left. Standing over it is Declan Rice. 14 goals this season for Victor Gyökeres. Cross comes in by Rice, evades everybody, should run away for a goal kick, does so. And it's going to be a goal kick. Which Weiss will take. Goes long. Headed away by Saliba. Burnley pick it up. Anthony with a flip. Right side of the pitch. Pires is beaten to the ball this time by Saka, who gets it back to Saliba. Saliba thumps a long ball forward. Trossard can't win it in the air. And near side of the pitch, 12 yards inside the Burnley half. Kyle Walker gets the ball down. And there's been an incident. Chouna is down holding his midriff in the middle of the park. Didn't see that again. Just looking down at my board here, and I'm trying to see exactly what happens. Nothing is the exact words I would say there. Nothing whatsoever. It's just a coming together between Chouna and Piero Incapi. But it's I can't see why a man of that size and stature would fall over, unless it really was he had a little sore spot under his shirt that nobody knew about. But he's down holding the side of his chest. He's going to make his way back to his feet. Still though, as the game moves into the 76th minute, Arsenal 1, Burnley 0. Let's get the picture Ben White up in the stands. Having a chat. Still Arsenal lead by that goal scored on 37. Also up in the stands wearing a blanket is Mikel Merino. Currently sidelined. Thump cross field. Anthony chests it down, and Dooney ends up seeing the ball taken off of Lawrence's feet and had a play on the far side. Saka dumped to the floor as well, so a free kick will ensue, taken quickly by Arsenal over the halfway line into the feet of Odegaard. Odegaard back into his own half, slips it to the left side of centre half. McAllis out to Trossard. Trossard faced by Zion Fleming, slips it in behind Walker, looking for the run this time of Piero Hincapi, who goes down. Thought he should have been fouled. He's lost both his shorts and his undercrackers as well, and has exposed a pair of buttocks that really don't need to be seen on television worldwide. He went down, and in doing so slipped. Sorry, I shouldn't. Axel Tuanzebe stood on his shorts and removed his shorts and his underclackers as Florentino goes off to be replaced by James Ward-Prowse. You've got to see that moment for yourself, because it is a comedic moment if you've ever seen one. He stood on his shorts, and he stood obviously entwined with his shorts underneath his undershorts, and then dragged them down as he slid on the floor, exposing the bare buttocks of Piero Hincapi. Yeah, I saw it in slow motion, and it's quite a funny little moment. It's one you'd never want to happen to you, but when it happens to somebody else, that's the way. It could have been a penalty there. Gyökeres had got the toe away from the keeper, Weiss then put his toe in to get back. Gyökeres has gone down saying it's a penalty. Portier is going to be having a little word with the man in the monitor here, because it was played across and Weiss let it run across his body. Gyökeres didn't give it up. That is a penalty. I've just seen it in slow motion. The referee will be asked to look at this, because Gyökeres gets there first. Weiss is in the process of trying to toe poke the ball away, and then brings down Victor Gyökeres. This could be a penalty. Did the keeper Weiss just get a touch on it? That is the question. He may well just have got a touch on that might save his blushes. And in fairness, the referee's assistant has just seen Weiss get a little touch. At the time, I thought it was a very clumsy challenge. Mikel Arteta is having a word with the fourth official on this near side, but it doesn't matter. Right at the end of that little replay, you just see that moment where he toes the ball away, but also catches Gyökeres. Free kick to Burnley, goal away to my right hand side. We're in the 79th minute of the game. Arsenal got some defending to do here, and James Ward-Prowse, the set piece king, is on the field of play. Needs to score one more direct free kick to equal David Beckham's record of direct free kicks in the Premier League. Knocks the ball in. Raya will catch this so easily above his head and outside the penalty area. Odegaard has had it coming together with a Burnley player. Paul Tierney has spotted it. Free kick's going to be given. 80 on the clock here. Arsenal 1, Burnley 0. So Fleming puts himself around. I think it was Fleming on Odegaard at the time, and Raya comes out of the penalty area for Arsenal away to my right-hand side. About 11 yards outside his penalty area, the yellow-clad David Raya, the former Brentford keeper, is going to smite this ball from my right to my left with his right boot, of all things. Thumps a high ball up. Gyökeres to target, headed away by Esteve, turned around the corner by Anthony. Cleared forward by Saliba, but that harmlessly goes over the heads of everybody through the Burnley penalty area away to my left for a goal kick, which Max Weiss will take. Bounces the ball as he retrieves it and then puts it on the edge of the 6-yard box adjacent to his left post away to my left-hand side. Arsenal 1, Burnley 0. A lot more possession for Burnley in the second half, but no goals as of such, and David Raya's had very little to do. Anthony falls to the floor. Arsenal come forward. Saka to Odegaard. A little back heel. Tries to find the run inside of Mosquera. Ball breaks to Gyökeres. Gyökeres to Trossard. Trossard waits for the overlap. Coming in on this near side. Hincapi tries to cross it into the Burnley box. Blocked by the legs of a Burnley player out on this near side for a throw to Arsenal down by the corner flag. Piero Hincapi is got the ball in his hands. Drying it off. Wandering away from the corner flag. Maybe giving himself a better angle than he should do. Works both ways, not just nicking yards going towards an opponent's goal, but also easy just to walk away. And now Declan Rice comes across, a veritable thruster of the ball from distance into the penalty area of the opposition on this near side. Weiss, goal away to my left, looks out to his right-hand side, about 10 yards away from the dead ball line. Rice selects to throw it back this time into the feet of Hincapi. Forward it goes to Lewis Skelly, out to Trossard. Trossard flicks it over their heads, cleared by Fleming. Burnley can't get the ball away. Rice picks up the ball on this near side and turns it back to the halfway line, where Saliba's got time to let it drag across his body and play it back to Raya. Raya out to the right-hand side of his penalty area, but outside of it, thumps it long and down that far side and straight out of play. Arsenal 1, Burnley 0, 82nd minute of this game. Going to be time added on here. There's 2 more changes coming the way of Burnley. Maxime Esteve will be going off. And Bashir Humphreys is about to come on. Esteve limps away. A good game, Maxime Esteve. Been very solid, the 23-year-old Frenchman, on his 35th appearance. And the other person that came off was Loum Chona, who is going to be replaced by Jakob Brun-Larsen. Bashir Humphreys is on as well. Michael Jackson, head coach interim for Burnley, said it's the way you make me feel when he was coming off the wall. And got rid of one of his backroom staff called Ben. He said, Ben, 2 of us are friends no more. Anyway, there's enough of the Michael Jackson songs that I can think of just off the top of my head. This certainly hasn't been a thriller. In fact, it's been quite bad. Ball goes back to the feet of Raya. Raya thumps a long ball down this near touchline. Tuanzebe's been beaten to the ball by Gyökeres. Walker gets back and plays it back to Weiss, and Weiss slides away to the dead ball line and clears the ball out of play on this near side. Rolls along the dead ball line on this near touchline, hooked in by Hincapi, picked up by Ward-Prowse. First touch to Anthony, back to Ward-Prowse. Ward-Prowse feeds it out far side, and Lucas Pires is on the charge now with Mosquera. Mosquera's got the better legs, gets set, blocks the run of Lucas Pires and puts the ball out of play on the far side of the pitch. Well, time is going to fall through the fingers of Burnley's chance to scrape a point here against the league leaders Arsenal, and certainly the grip of Liverpool on the Premier League title has been relinquished. It's either going to be Arsenal, pretty much Arsenal, who will be 5 points clear with 2 games for Manchester City to play. Arsenal with just 1 game after today's game to try and seal the deal. Premier League we have, though, Champions League to go for as well. We've got Crystal Palace away on the final day of the season, Arsenal. And at the moment, it is Arsenal but lead by a goal to nil in the 85th minute here. Gyökeres shoots the ball out of play off the feet of Humphries. Going to be thrown to Arsenal far side of the pitch. They are within sniffing distance of a 5-point gap over Manchester City. This will force Manchester City in having to win their next 2 games. They've got a horrible game against Bournemouth coming up. I say horrible, Bournemouth are nobody's fools. And if Arsenal were travelling to Bournemouth in the final game of the season, you really would feel uncomfortable, that's for sure. Thrown in by Arsenal far side of the pitch. Back it goes to Saliba. Saliba back to the centre spot to Gabriel Magalhaes. Forward to Trossard. Trossard's first touch is heavy. Cut out by Ward-Prowse. Ward-Prowse back to Tuanzebe and across to Walker. Walker midway inside the Burnley half. Ferrets his way out to the left-hand side. Finds Anthony. Anthony out to Pires. Pires 6 yards shy of the halfway line. Into Walker. Back to Anthony. Anthony 18 yards inside the Burnley half. Will play it to the right-hand side to Axel Tuanzebe. He starts making his way towards the halfway line. 86th minute of the game. Arsenal 1, Burnley 0. Ward-Prowse give and go with Walker. Back to Ward-Prowse across to Humphries. Humphries up and over the halfway line. Plays it out to the left back. Pires. Pires into the feet of Anthony. Anthony back to Pires. Pires now. Can he find the ball into the box? Steps away from Odegaard. Can't get away from Saka. Rice tries to come forward and gets upended this time in the middle of the park by Jakob Brun-Larsen, and it's going to be a free kick, just what Arsenal needed. Arsenal will be quite happy to have the football in their own way. Actually, the foul wasn't Jakob Brun-Larsen at all. It was a dangling led by Lucas Pires that done the damage. They were both there at the same time. Arsenal 1, Burnley 0. If it stays this way, it'll be a 5-point lead for Arsenal, with 1 game to play for them away at Crystal Palace, and Manchester City with 2 to play. Is there to be any more twists? Well, it will be pushed to the final game of the season, that's for sure. Gyökeres tries to get this long ball down. Humphries in that far corner, down the line, into the feet of Pires. Pires being tracked all the time by Saka. Turns, plays it along the line. Nicely played there, finds Anthony. Anthony, little back heel. Tries to find Josh Lauren. Josh Lauren too handy. Pushes on the back of a falling Arsenal player who goes down. Miles Lewis-Skelly. And it's going to be a free kick. Didn't take long for him to find the old crumple zone of the Arsenal left back stroke defensive midfielder. Still nails are being eaten here by Arsenal fans on the 88th minute. They really just want to hear the whistle now, that is for sure. Declan Rice with his free kick. He could have put it into Max Weiss's penalty area, away to my left-hand side. Gets the ball right-footed. Burnley hold a line right on the edge of their 18-yard box, away to my left-hand side. Declan Rice will see the Arsenal players run across in an offside position, while Burnley then drop back into the position. Headed away by Tuanzebe, and on the volley by Trossard, always going wide though of Weiss's left post, away to my to my left-hand side. But, still, though, is Burnley trying to seek that equaliser. Mikel Arteta looking flagging like a semaphore man down on the touchline with no flex, but just waving his players into different positions. Can Burnley find the equaliser? Not if Declan Rice has got anything to do with it. Again, sniffs out an attack and plays it forward to Gyökeres. Gyökeres tries to go away, breaks into the Burnley penalty area, but Tuanzebe, Walker and Ward-Prowse clear the ball. Given away by Ward-Prowse onto the edge of the box to Odegaard. Loose ball again by Burnley. Chance now for Trossard. Trossard faced by Ward-Prowse down the side of the Burnley penalty area, away to my left-hand side. Arsenal 1, Burnley 0. Back heel. Lewis-Skelly won't get there. Ball out of play, goal kick. 89th minute of the game here. Arsenal in touching distance of a 5-point lead, with Manchester City with 2 games to play and just Crystal Palace away for Arsenal on the final day of the season. Jadon Anthony back to Bashir Humphries, and another game looks as though it's going to slip through the fingers of Burnley. Burnley being Burnley. They haven't been smited, they haven't been shooed, they haven't been smoked, they haven't been whatever one massacred. They've just lost by 1-0. Near side of the pitch, Walker forward, tries to get the ball into the feet of Zeki Amdouni. First touch is heavy, headed back by Miles Lewis-Skelly, cleared by Gabriel Magalhaes, headed forward by Humphries. Amdouni lays it back this time into the feet of Humphries. And then it's played forward to Fleming, who loses it out. Punted into the channel on this near side for Gyökeres, who's trying to take on Tuanzebe. Tuanzebe read it too well, plays it back to Weiss. Weiss plays it out this time to Walker. Walker inside to Ward-Prowse, I should say. Ward-Prowse square to Humphreys. Humphreys gallops up towards the halfway line. 90th minute of the game. Arsenal 1, Burnley 0. This is a game where I think Arsenal will be happy not to see any minutes added on at the end of time, but there's got to be some. There has to be some. Ward-Prowse in the centre circle, Burnley side, forward to Anthony, back to Ward-Prowse, across this time on the far side. It goes into the feet of Bashir Humphreys, forward. This time into the feet of Amdouni. Amdouni out on the far side, played back in field to Ward-Prowse. Ward-Prowse 6 yards inside the Arsenal half, give and go with Walker, back to Ward-Prowse. Ward-Prowse wants to pick a decent pass, he's only got one option. Humphreys to his left, gives it to Humphreys. Humphreys further out left-hand side, this time to Anthony. Anthony puts a deep cross across the face of goal. Zion Fleming has absolutely floored David Raya. And it's going to be a yellow card for Zion Fleming here. He really did jump straight into David Raya. And David Raya's gone down, holding the top of his left hip above his buttock. Good old-fashioned centre-forward goalkeeper challenged right from the 70s there. And David Raya really did feel the full weight of Zion Fleming, who certainly gave David Raya a little bit of a flailing. Dutch player has played for the Dutch national team. Came in from Millwall. Signed a 4-year deal. Got quite a bit of time left for Burnley. And his statistics for Burnley at the moment: 67 appearances and 26 goals. 3,479 cards. I made the last bit up. I'm not sure if you did see that. Gabriel Martinelli and Martin Zubimendi about to come on for Arsenal just to eat a few of the last few moments up. There are 7 additional minutes to play here at the Emirates. Arsenal lead by a goal to 0. It's going to be more time than that, I believe, added on, because down at the moment Trossard and David Raya. Not been a spectacular performance by Arsenal. Trossard is the first to be taken from the field of play. He's going to be replaced by Gabriel Martinelli. Comes on, jogs onto the field of play. Pretty much a stalwart down the left-hand side most of the time, but finds himself battling with Leandro Trossard down that left-hand side as they head towards the end of the season. Martin Odegaard is going to be replaced on this near time. 5 yellow cards for Fleming. He's going to miss the final game of the season, so he can go and pack his bags on his way home. As I say, Gabriel Martinelli is on. He replaces Trossard, and Martin Zubimendi comes on for Martin Odegaard. We've had almost 2 minutes of time for injuries. Raya's back on his feet, still holding his back, but he's going to take this free kick from fully 13 yards further forward from where he actually was clattered into by Fleming. And he now thumps a long ball forward. Gyökeres to target. Tuanzebe with the header away. 94th minute. Minimum of 7 to be added on here at the Emirates, and it's still Arsenal 1, Burnley 0. Goal scored by Kai Havertz from their 3rd corner of the match. First 2 they played short. The 3rd one they knocked in long from Saka, and 7 yards out. Kai Havertz got his 2nd goal of the season. Lucky to stay on for a reckless challenge in the second half, in fairness, the German. But he buried that header in for his 2nd goal of the season. 2 goals and 2 assists in 10 appearances. Been an injury-plagued season for the German, but back playing now. Walker skies the ball forward. Burnley lose out in the middle of the park, and now down under a challenge in the middle of the park goes Saka, who put his head in where Lucas Perez wanted to put his foot, and Portioni is blown for a foul. And Saka holds his head, and again this is symptomatic of Premier League players now. The boot is nowhere near Saka's face. The only thing that caught Saka's face there was a blown-up football which he would head into the back of the goal any other time of the day. But he goes down as though he's been poleaxed and has a head injury. 95th minute of the game. I'm getting a little bit fed up, and I think they've got to be looking at that. Ironically, Declan Rice is the man to take it. He has been, really, for me, the man of the match. He's just been sublime at doing the obvious and honest hard work brilliantly. Zeki Amdouni goes forward. Miles Lewis-Skelly puts his head up in the air. Difference for a Burnley player as he just runs away and the referee still blows his whistle. We're into the 96th minute, a minimum of 7. Max Weiss comes out of his goal. Can Burnley find a goal that would be crushing for Arsenal? And an absolute fillip for them. That is how slender a one-goal lead is. Thumped long by Max Weiss. Easy header away by Zubimendi. Tuanzebe won't get there. Breaking onto the ball, Martinelli. Martinelli just a bit of a heavy touch, and it's pace against pace as Kyle Walker, who some may say has lost his legs, but he was really good there against the fresher legs of Gabriel Martinelli as he broke forward. Done really, really well. He was half a yard down, got alongside him, made Martinelli have a false touch, and then he got across as well. That's terrific pace by the veteran England full-back. Coming to the end of the 96th minute, moving into what would be the 97th minute. Arsenal 1, Burnley 0. Kai Havertz, second goal of the season, headed in from 7 yards at Bukayo Saka corner on 37 minutes. That is their possible 7th 1-0 victory of the season if they can hold on to it. We're into the 7th additional minute of a minimum of 7 to give them a 5-point lead with one game to go in the Premier League. Crystal Palace away, while Manchester City have got 2 starting tomorrow. Ward-Prowse to Tuanzebe. Tuanzebe out on this near side, finds Anthony. Anthony cutting in from the right, back to Tuanzebe. Tuanzebe 12 yards inside the Arsenal half. Clips the ball forward to Zeki Amdouni. Lets it run across his body, but he's well marshalled that time by Gabriel Mahales. And the ball goes out of play, and as it goes out for a goal kick, he makes the fans cheer. Well, Arsenal have got that, but some players and some of the fans will have come in age, one age, and going home a lot older. They are so close, they can almost see the ribbons being tied on the Premier League trophy. They will be 1 point away from one game of maybe, just maybe, clinching that title. Mikel Arteta's bridesmaids could well be the bride. Arsenal fans cheering. They know they are going to be 5 points clear of Manchester City. Goal difference is exactly the same. City have got 2 games to play. Arsenal go to Palace on the final day of the season. We're into the 98th minute. Kai Havertz headed goal from a Bukayo Saka goal. A corner on 37 separates these two sides. Still we play on. Headed away this time by Gabriel. Headed forward by Burnley. Mosquera heads it out of play on the far side. Maybe the final play here. Roll of the dice for Burnley to get it into that Arsenal penalty area. Chance now for a long throw by Kyle Walker. Fingers go back to the mouths of some Arsenal fans. Kyle Walker about to throw this into the penalty area of Arsenal. More up than away. Big header away by Saliba. Breaks out to Walker. Walker puts it back in again. Arsenal somehow get it down and thumped away this time by Mosquera into the half of Burnley. Good work by Jakob Brun Larsen. Puts it out of play on the far side. I think that's the final action of the game here. Mikel Arteta saying it's all over. Keeps waving his arms at the 4th official. You are not the referee, Mikel. You are not the referee. Poor Tierney signals the end of the game. Throw on the far side, which is still to be taken. We're into the 99th minute. Kai Havertz goal on 37. Heading in the 3rd Arsenal corner of the match. Down the line it goes. Cut out this time on the far side by Lucas Pires. Another throw for Arsenal. Still the whistle goes. There was time to be added on. This much I'm not so sure. Still the Arsenal fans just pray for that final whistle. Into the corner it goes. Brought down by Gyökeres. Back to Mosquera. Mosquera holds it against the touchline. Burnley try and win the ball back. Mosquera still has it at his feet. Good feet by Mosquera. Gets to the dead ball line and plays it into the penalty area. Cleared by Tuanzebe. Headed away on the far side by Burnley. Helped on this time. Ball goes out of play on the far side, and finally the whistle blows, and that is a massive jump and leap in the air there for Mikel Arteta. His side go 5 points clear, same goal difference to Manchester City. City play tomorrow night, they've got to win 2 out of 2, and Arsenal have to foul up at Crystal Palace Way on the final day of the season. But a Kai Havertz header from a Bukayo Saka corner on 37 separates these two sides at the final whistle. Arsenal 1, Burnley 0. Thank you very, very much for listening.